But overall, I want to see this buy side liquidity get tagged, and I want to see a reaction at this volume imbalance up here. What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome to another video. It's currently 11:19 p.m. on Wednesday, the 3rd of January. And yeah, let's take a look at what happened. As you can see, we traded up into the buy side liquidity that we had marked out and called out in yesterday's video. We didn't quite reach the volume imbalance I was speaking about, which is here. But once we drop down to the lower time frame, you'll see the kind of reaction we had, which is suggesting that it's likely that we're not going to actually reach into it. If we were going to reach into it, we would have done it, I believe, already. However, you see we didn't actually reach it. And yeah, as you can see, price action is very weird though. This is Tuesday's candle and it looks very ugly. Here there's a massive volume imbalance from this open up to this low. This is all going to be a volume imbalance that I believe price is going to want to trade back through. So I'm still watching this daily inversion fair value gap. But yeah, let's drop down to the 4 hour and have a look. So you'll see how price traded nicely up, found support in the inversion fair value gap just as I stated yesterday, and then ran up into that buy side liquidity. Like I said, we didn't reach that 4 hour volume imbalance, and then we stabbed into that buy side liquidity once and twice, and then on the, I think it was FOMC minutes, you can see we've broken down, and now I'm looking for a run below this low to get a full break in market structure. We are still hanging around this equilibrium, so I do want to see us expand back below this in the new day. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down to a lower time frame so we can actually look at how price attacks the buy side. So here's the let's go to the 5 minute. And you'll see that we traded into that buy side liquidity first at 10:35, and then we consolidated right through to the 2 o'clock news where we ran out these stops one more time, and then you can see we aggressively traded lower and are now just consolidating. Now this aggressive trade lower back to equilibrium is nice to see. Also this price action, as in high, low, higher, high, is classic price action when we've gone to a level that we anticipate price to trade to. So now what I'd be looking at is the last down close candle before this up move as a breaker for us to then sell from to expect lower prices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out the breaker block. I'm going to do it on the 15 minute though, and that's this last down close candle, because this is the low between the 2 swing highs which took out the buy stops. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that into the new day, and then what I'll be looking for is to see how price then treats these levels. So let's say in London, if we trade up into it, I want to see, okay, does price react to it and want to go lower? If yes, then this will be a perfect selling opportunity. There's also a fair value gap there as well, making this an optimal trade entry. But as we're trading into this, we can obviously be looking at our pairs such as GBP and Euro for buys. So this is a breaker block, 15 minute breaker block. And it'll be interesting to see if we're just going to consolidate, make the high of the day here, and then start to run back on ourselves as a midweek reversal. In terms of where I want to reach for, well, we have the opening of the week here, so I wouldn't be surprised if price does want to try and reach down here. We do have non-farm payroll on Friday, so it would be classic for price to just continue running through Thursday and Friday right down into these sell stops, because as you can see, we haven't actually traded below this low yet. So yes, we've wicked down there, however, we haven't made a significant low, and there's obviously going to be a lot of liquidity residing below these 2 lows here. So we can look at this as sell side liquidity. I'm not going to mark it out, but I know that this is the opening candle and that we haven't traded below it yet. So this is my draw on liquidity now for dollar. But first, like I said, I anticipate this 15 minute breaker to get traded to. Let's make it yellow. And then I need to see how we treat this inversion fair value gap. To be honest, once this swing low gets taken out, this low was made at 10 AM. Once that gets taken out, it's likely price is going to want to pull down below these lows, and then I'd like to see this daily inversion fair value gap act as resistance for it to then propel price lower, and then, like I said, run for these lows. After here, it's possible price might want to go even deeper, but overall my draw is here, so that's where I'm going to be focusing. So what I'm going to do, I believe there's an eye I have somewhere. I'm now going to move my eye down here because this is now my focus. We've grabbed buy side liquidity. Now we need to offset all that liquidity in the sell side. So that's what I'm looking at. Let's quickly go back to the 4 hour, and you can see how beautiful we reacted. We didn't even trade, we didn't even close above it really. We just turned around, took out highs once and then twice, and then you can see we're breaking down. So like I said, this low, I do want to see this low get taken. As soon as that low starts to get attacked, we can be pretty confident in our selling on dollar. So that's going to be everything for dollar. Let's go to GBPUSD. Now GBP's been showing a lot of strength. As euro was making lower lows, dollar was making higher highs, but GBP failed to make a lower low, and the failure was here. So over here you'll see that euro, let me just quickly add euro and dollar just so we can see. And we'll go to let's go to a 4 hour with it. Actually we'll go to a 1 hour. You'll see how euro made was making clear lower lows, and then dollar was making clear higher highs, whereas pound was showing strength. So pound has been showing a lot of strength, meaning that if we're looking for buys now on our pairs, since we're expecting a sell-off on dollar, if we are expecting a sell-off on dollar, then we should be trading pound, as this is the pair which is showing the most strength. So let's go to the daily, and you'll see how we have already slightly traded below this swing low, and then this was Wednesday's price action, and now we have this beautiful fair value gap here to get filled, and this bearish order block to trade up into. So I'm going to mark these two PD arrays out as targets. I'd like to see this fair value gap get completely filled in. And I'm looking at this bearish order block opening price as a potential higher target for pound. Now let's go down to the 4 hour and have a better look at price. You can see how we just consolidated quite heavily and then eventually expanded higher, and now we're already running into that daily fair value gap to get filled, and like I said, potentially that bearish order block, which is also lines up with this 4 hour bearish order block as well, which is convenient. So what I'm looking for now is I'd be looking for a breaker for us to enter on. If we drop down to a lower time frame, we should be able to identify. You can see we were heavily consolidated, but what we want to look for is the last swing high before the swing low that then broke price higher. We have the swing high here. Let me see, the low of this is 1.26162. The low of this is 1.26160. So that low didn't quite take out that low, but price action isn't the cleanest around here, to be honest. As you can see, we do have an inversion fair value gap, so let's get that marked out. Is there one on the 4 hour? There's not one on the 4 hour. So this is an inversion fair value gap, and you can see how we traded through and closed above it. So we know that this should now provide support for us to propel higher. And what I do want to look for is some kind of 15-minute PD array for us to potentially enter in on the new day. But like I said, pound is showing a significant amount of strength right now for it to be trading up into the daily fair value gap. I don't see. It might want to grab these lows and return back to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this marked out, because there's always potential for the new day for us to retrace, run out these sell stops, grab those sell stops, and then trade higher into the daily fair value gap. But overall, I am looking for this entire gap to get filled, and then, like I said, a potential run up into this buy side just above this swing high, which is where that daily bearish order block is residing. So I'm going to put, is that 4 hour high? Let's see. Yeah. So we may want to trade up into here. Let's look on the 1 hour very quickly. There is a fair value gap up here and a breaker, high, low, higher, high. So price may want to draw right up into that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write buy side liquidity. And remember, I'm marking these out because GBP is a stronger pair right now. So I'm expecting and anticipating a significant amount of strength. We do have a bullish order block here. So we should be looking at this to act as we should be looking at this to provide support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out the crunch encroachment of that actually. and realistically I would like to see this not get traded down below 26594. We'll make it dashed, and then on the lower time frame you can see that's where that resides. So price can trade below it, but preferably I'd like to see this act as support for us to then be looking for buys, like I said, into the fair value gap. But overall, at least we know that we're likely going to be bullish, and that pound is the stronger pair to be trading in this scenario, and we have this massive liquidity void to be getting filled in. So let's finish on Euro USD. Euro had a very bearish day. If you watched yesterday's video, you know I was stating that I wanted to see if we could reach these lows. We didn't quite trade to it, and that's because, wow, we've had a reaction off of it. Let's have a look at this order block. Have we... One thing that is quite confusing to me is the fact that we have closed below the 50% level off this order block, and we're suggestively bullish now, so it'll be interesting to see how we do trade up. But again, just similar to pound, we have a nice big fair value gap that's formed on the daily now. And then I'm also going to mark out the consequent encroachment of Wednesday's wick, and that's again, let me just... And the reason for that is because I don't want to see if we're going to trade higher, if we are going to trade higher, price should not trade below the consequent encroachment of this. So we can mark that out like so, make it dashed, and now we know this is the lowest we want to see price trade in the new day for Euro, and then we can start looking for a run up into this buy side liquidity above Wednesday's high for us to reach on Thursday or Friday. Now let's go on the 4 hour. We haven't had a full break in market structure on the 4 hour yet. Not really much to see. See what the 1 hour can provide. Again, classic price action here, low, high, lower, low. So you can see how we stab down into these levels, into this bullish order block, we traded into it. And then we had a nice reaction away, taking out this. So once we took out this swing high, this was our shift in market structure. This is the algorithm. Once we closed above it, the algorithm's saying, okay, now we should be looking for some kind of buy side liquidity. And what we can do is on the 15-minute, we should have a clear a clear breaker. Low, high, lower, low, last up close candle here, so we can drag that out, and this should give us our breaker. Now you can see we've traded into it already, but price can return back into it, and like I said, and it's just about, we're just about to start the Asia session, so I'm not going to say too much, but London, it's possible we may want to retrace back into here before pushing higher into that buy side liquidity, like I said, from yesterday's highs. There's that massive fair value gap to get filled. We've got a nice swing high within the fair value gap to trade to, and a nice bearish order block at the top of it. So these are all levels that we can anticipate price reaching for the rest of the week. But in terms of entry, now that we've had a suggestive reversal, we want to be buying below the midnight opening. So what we'll do is we'll drag out the midnight opening candle, and we'll be looking for about 3 a.m. and yeah, about 3 a.m. New York, we should be looking to see where price is at to potentially give us a nice entry for a long into the buy side liquidity. But that's going to bring us to the end of the video, guys. I hope you found this insightful. Make sure to check out yesterday's video so you can see how I outlined price and expected this down delivery. Like I said, we didn't quite reach the sell side, which I anticipated, but again, that shows a level of bullishness. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Don't forget to hit like, and don't forget to comment and subscribe.